When you start talking about technology and you start talking about your business and growing your business, as an entrepreneur myself, I was spent almost 20 years in financial planning. So I was Series 7, Series 63, Series 65, life, health, property, and casualty. Did that for about 20 years. I spent my time in financial planning at Kemper Funds. I began wholesaling at Kemper Funds actually in 1998. Had a great career, got into all the estate planning, scrats, trust work, sprinkle trust, etc. Loved that line of work. For Kemper, I worked in the annuity division, so I was in annuities, variable annuities, fixed annuities, all the universal products, index products, etc. that came out. So it was a long time in my career. And then I got the idea that I would come out and I would start a business. And I thought, because I was a financial advisor, that I knew what being a business owner, running a business meant. And unfortunately, what I learned is that I didn't really have a clue what I was doing. I raised about $600,000. I invested $700,000-ish into a website that I thought would launch me on the planet. I'd be able to scale. I'd be able to have my own plane and my yacht and see you guys, at the next hotel. Well, it didn't go that way. It took about 2 years. We burned through the entire capital, the burn rate that we were on to scale this product, and literally ended up losing everything that we had. I had to outsource to a web developer because I didn't know web development. And so I found the best contractor. Has anybody ever built a house? Yeah? Oh, not you, Kevin. That doesn't make sense. But okay, but you've built a house. Well, I'm not a builder either. I built my first house in 1994, hired a contractor. I got a little messed up by that contractor too, but this was a contractor that I hired to build the website. After 2 years of development, I had a white screen. That's all I had. And in the upper right-hand corner, I had a login button. Now, those of you that think that you're entrepreneurs, okay, and you think you're an entrepreneur, and you go to Wellington Capital Reserve, and you go to, the website looks pretty, and the content's there, and the pictures match, and you send your clients over there, and you got videos, and you got these resources and all these resources. When you're the business owner, all that content has to be created. All the website, all the buttons, everything has to work right. Everything you see, all the retractable signs, everything that you do has to be created from a white page. And then on top of that, not only do you have to be the manager of the website and everything else, then on top of that, you've got to worry about taxes. Make sure to file your F&E. I didn't even know what F&E taxes were. I had never even heard of F&E. And someone had mentioned different things to me along the journey that I just didn't know. But I had to learn. I had to go along that journey. Well, that website that I wanted to create today is called Fanzuma. It was called Fanzuma then as well. And it's not anywhere near what I set out for it to build. I was an entrepreneur, but I didn't yet know what an entrepreneur really meant. I didn't really want to be an entrepreneur. I just wanted to build a product that 1 million people loved, that I could share and we could all use together, and we'd ride to the top together. So once my business started to struggle, then I had to take a step back. See, and as a business owner, there's a lot of things I thought about wanting to share with you guys today, and you've heard a lot of great speakers, and I could stand up here and I could try to deliver something inspirational and tell you, hang in there in the dark days, and all that. And I really want to deliver some product information, some knowledge of how you can actually use technology to grow your business. I'm going to share that. But right before I do, I just want you to understand all the businesses on that card from 2009 forward have come with problems and challenges and concerns and have made me what I am today. And I had to learn to do it myself. I didn't have a sugar daddy. I didn't have a sugar mama. I didn't have a bankroll. I didn't come from money. Okay, I was born and raised in Jackson, Michigan, home of the state penitentiary, okay, where when there was a breakout, we all did this. Out the window, all the kids look out the window. We sat there when somebody had to break out of prison. Okay, so I don't come from money. I come from struggle, and so I'm just this guy trying to build a product that I can sell and scale and take nationally or globally even. And in 2012, staring there at that white screen, with just a login button, that's all I had after $650,000, $700,000. I don't know how that would make you feel, but you kind of feel like a really big loser right at that moment, because I had 6 investors I had to walk into a boardroom and face and say why all we had was a white screen and I'm the CEO. There's no one else to blame at that point. The buck stops right here. And if I throw in the towel, if I say, well, the white screen is good, then guess what? The white screen's good because I'm the decision maker. I'm the one doing everything. The one thing I want to say about this is you are an entrepreneur of sorts when you're responsible for your own income. But the opportunity that you're being given has been built by someone other than you. What Scott and his imagination and all the other collaborators that made this happen. When I say this, I mean every part of it. I mean every speaker you have heard today or over the last few days had to be planned. Every event had to be planned, every dinner. Not in the last week. It had to happen months ago. When we're building a website can take months and months and months. And the customer would think, what in the world's going on? Like it's a PowerPoint that we're just throwing together. But that's not what it is. It takes time to build. Well, so what was I supposed to do? I'm here. I have literally, like, the screen has nothing on it. That was my business that I was supposed to go sell and make money and support my wife, my family, my community, my church, everything else. And I had nothing. And so when my investors were gone and I was out of money and I'd walked away from a great career, and now I've got this white screen with a login button on it, what do you do when you're sitting there and you're saying, I have no money? By the way, who was it that spoke that know a person with money, meet guy entrepreneur that needs money? Hi, I'm rich. Okay, so going backwards though, okay, that white screen, here I am, I'm struggling, and I didn't know what to do. And when you're an entrepreneur and you don't know what to do, whether male, female, old or young, no one else to turn to, will you give in or will you push through? Will you persevere through the struggle? The struggle is what's making you who you are. The struggle is God chiseling away at your life, making you the person that He sees that you're going to be to help people down here. Life has these events that take place, like the technology not working this morning. It's not that the technology didn't work, is that I guess I had forwarded the email, right? I had this expectation, or not an email, I had shared my presentation. I guess I kind of thought that someone would have it up, and it didn't, and then we tried to fix it, and I ran into bumps. But that's business, isn't it? Like you're going to have your expectation, and you're going to take a step forward, and it's not going to work out exactly how you want, and you have to be prepared. If you're the decision maker, you're going to have to be prepared to make an adjustment. Like what I'm doing with you right now, trying to paint the picture with my words instead of with images. But I knew I needed to do something. So I went and got a job, and I convinced this company to give me a cash advance. And good thing I did, because they fired me 7 days later. Apparently, I'm not good employee material. I don't listen well. No. What's that? But here I am. I got a white screen, and I say, what am I going to do? Well, if you look down at the card, not the side that has my name on it, or Brooks, but the side that has Pearl on it, you're going to see 2013, I started networking today. Anybody already a member of BNI? You belong to BNI or Rio or TNT or something like that? Okay. All right, so BNI is big in Knoxville, of course, and so my chapter changed leaders every October. That's what they do at BNI. We changed the leaders in 2011. Well, yeah, about 2011. What happened is no one liked that leadership team, so we lost. We went from 46 members to 19 members. So I couldn't grow my business. And if you're in a situation and you're looking for people to meet, the 40 names, one of the good ways to do that is networking, getting out into the community. But when your networking group that was really strong and solid drops from 46 to 19, all of a sudden you lose most of the audience that you're now presenting to, so I needed more opportunities to network. So when I started networking today, this is really, really important if you're an entrepreneur, because when I started networking today, I did not start it as a company. I went to a group called Small Business Matters. They met for free each and every week, so I went and checked them out. Then that very next week, I came back to my group, a couple of my friends, and I said, I'd like to start one of these small business matters meetings in Hardin Valley. If you know anything about Knoxville, Tennessee, kind of the west side, you got the Hardin Valley area, maybe north slightly. And so I wanted to start my meeting there. So I did. I started in the loft of a coffee shop. It was just me and 3 people. We started in the loft of a coffee shop. That was June of 2013. Well, fast forward about a year, we were standing room only. We had 45 to 50 people. The loft only held, I don't even know how many people the loft held. I never counted in the room ever one time, so I don't even know, but it was full. Standing room all the way to the back. The loft had a set of stairs. People would stand down the steps. Then when it was their turn to speak, they would come up the steps. They would give their 60-second brief, and they would go back down the steps, and that's what they would do. Well, so then a friend of mine, Brian Williams, comes and says, you know, this is going pretty good, this group. Oh, well, let me back up. So the group's growing. Everyone's like, what should we name it? I'm like, well, I don't know. I think we should call it Networking Today, because I didn't want to be Small Business Matters. So from that day forward, June of 2013, we became Networking Today. 4 years later, we have 8 meeting locations. Well, 3.5, 4 years later, we have 8 meeting locations. We had several hundred members, and it was growing. And at this point, we're still not a business. We're still not formed as a business. We're not charging the members. They can make contributions and donations. I'm growing my website business, that sort of thing. But then it got to be so much work, complaining and this. People wanted a website. They wanted, all kinds of promotion material to share Networking Today. And I said, I'm not going to do it. And I decided to close the thing down. I was going to take Networking Today. I was just going to close it. It's too much work. Well, so I went to all those folks, and everybody said, you are a complete fool if you shut these 8 meeting locations down. So I kept it up, and I said, we're going to have to turn it into a business. So we did. We formed it into a business. I worked with my tax advisor, formed it. Now, fully understanding an S Corp and an C Corp and an LLC and sole proprietor, I'm starting to understand the language. I'm starting to use some of the language that entrepreneurs actually use, like COGS, cost of goods sold, right? I'm starting to use the language, not just what we salespeople use with printed literature that someone else made for us and designed and wrote and said, and we just regurgitate what they say. When you're the one that has to come up with all the content, you create all the content, all the images are yours. The content, if it's on the page, if the content's wrong, it's your wrong, not somebody else's wrong. Well, I had to learn all that, so I did. We formed as a company. Well, from 2017, right around March 2017, to September 2019, we grew 6,300%. Ended up in 12 states. 1,000 members strong, 63 meeting locations, business was booming. And you know what? Business is a lot of fun when you're making money. It's good to be an entrepreneur and have freedom when you have lots of money. When you're broke, being an entrepreneur sucks, and you start looking to work in someone else's garden. That's what happens. But so here I am, I'm struggling, man. I'm trying to grow. Well, we didn't even have a bank account yet, and people were coming up and throwing checks at us. And that's how we kind of learned how to grow Networking Today. And then dum COVID. Who saw that coming? I mean, if you're in the wedding planning business, the travel business, or the networking business, get the bleep out, okay? Because it was not a fun place to be, waking up every morning just watching your company just fall apart. Hey, maybe all of you, Jimmy told me not to move from this designated section. He knows me well enough to know I'll be in and out of camera. But this is the thing I want you guys to understand real quick. A friend of mine used to say, sail out into the middle of the deep. And when you're out in the middle of the deep, in the darkness, all alone, God will meet you there. Well, I've done that several times in my life. And one of the things that I realize is sometimes you get out into the middle of the deep and you're there alone. And you don't feel like God's there. In fact, you don't feel like your spouse is there. The best friend you grew up with isn't there. Okay? The only people there are the debt collectors waiting for you to pay them their money back. And you're the only person there. That's when you are going to begin to understand what it means to be an entrepreneur. Do you have the grit? Do you have the gumption? Do you have the gut to persevere even in the face of adversity? I'm telling you, I didn't come here to give a speech or preach a message or encouragement or anything. I really do want to share some value. But just as by way of entrepreneurship, I can tell you it's a difficult road, but it's a very rewarding road as well. And there's so much to learn about it. And being at these conferences, making sure that you're at these conferences, learning, surrounding yourself with people like this is why I do what I do, is because this gives me life. And this is probably giving you life also, especially if you're struggling. And that's why I network every single week, because my networking family gives me this same energy. I can wake up in the morning and I can feel terrible, and I can get to my networking group and they're doing well. And I say, how you doing? They say, well, I got a sale last week. I got a referral for you, Rich. And you will believe how that changes your whole life. But then moving on, Brooke and I, being that we own a web development company and mobile applications, and now, 2013, fast forward to 2022, we've been doing it for a minute now. Brooke and I had an idea of a mobile app, and it's called Bootlegger Runs. You can download it from your app store if you want to. Now, we're hitting college campuses first and that sort of thing, so don't think we're going to deliver to you at your home and your residence. But what I'm saying to you is, when we had the resources, not necessarily financial, but also resources of team, now we have knowledge, we built that in less than 8 months. It's an $850,000 mobile app that we hope to become billionaires on. If it scales, and it's a risk. But then in 2023, Brooke has a way of thought that she's mastered, and she's formed it into a workbook to help you take the chaos that we struggle with as entrepreneurs. You lay in bed at night, you got all that running around in your head, and in Brooke's flow of the way she does it, you write down all your issues that you're going through that day in a brain dump. You then walk through that whole process and wake up refreshed and ready, knowing an action plan for tomorrow. It's $14.95. I'm not selling it to you today. You can buy it off of fanplicity.com if something that would encourage you.
What's it called?
It's called Momentum. And so Momentum is a workbook that would help you do that. And I'm not here to talk to you about Momentum today, but if you have questions, you can see Brooke, you can see me, or you can order one off the website. But then, being that we're so much into relationships, the relationships all that we do, we launched the Rich and Brooke Show, and it's a podcast that we do on Facebook, and we'll eventually send that out to SoundCloud and all the podcast channels, iTunes, all the rest, and everything else that we'll do with it. It'll be a lot of fun. But today's topic is how and why we AI. Again, I could talk to you. I want to go back to what I was saying just a minute ago about launching out in the deep and God not being there. Off script just a little bit. Because when a friend comes up, and puts his arm around you, says, you're going to be all right, you make it, and you're thinking in your head, no, I'm not. I'm not there. And sometimes you might even verbalize, but they laugh and nudge on them, you'll be all right. Here's what I want to say to you. You can read the Fox's Book of Martyrs, and you will read that there are a number of men and a number of women in the first century church that drifted out, took risk, and lost their lives. See, God may not meet you out in the deep the way that you expect him to meet you there. You see, there's a lot of people that have died for the cause of Christ, and you may die in your journey as well. But I had to get to the place where out there in the deep, struggling, is that my timer to quit? Out there in the deep, struggling like I was, I had to come to the place in my life where I realized, God, you're still God. Whether I live or die, whether I make a decision, whether you blow my business up and I make lots of money, or I go to utter poverty and end up homelessness, you are still God, and I'm still clay. And what you do with this vessel, you do. And I shut my mouth, I got off my knees after prayer, and I put one step in front of the other one, and I've just not looked back. You have to refuse to quit. If you think it's going to be easier, just be handed to you. No one is going to hand it to you. If they have it already, they're not handing it to you. You have to get it, man. You have to earn it. You have to go after it. And you have to not quit. And you have to not hear the naysayers who say what you can and cannot do. Because I'm going to tell you something, a good friend of mine taught me that luck is preparation meeting opportunity. Let me say that again. Luck is preparation meeting opportunity. So your preparation is what's happening perhaps now. Now, maybe you're already successful. I'm going to talk to you too in just a minute. If you've already arrived, you're already at the top of the mountain, guess what? It's time for you to pay it back. We heard speakers who were in this room, and you say, well, Rich, I've already arrived. Why do I need to network? I'm going to tell you why you need to network, because the business community, Okay, even Jesus went outside of his own family, right? You have to go into your own Jerusalem, and then you go beyond. So we have to take care of our own family, our own church, our own, that sort of thing. But when do we, as the business owners, making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year, give back to our community? When do we give back to the people that don't have what we have? At Networking Today, we started focusing on local charities. Why? It's not that the American Cancer Society and the rest don't need money. They need money just like everybody else. But we can take a little charity in our little networking family, and we can take a charity trying to do real good in a community, and we can support them and help them and give back. And we support volunteer ministry centers. They feed the homeless in Knoxville that are suffering from homelessness and that sort of thing, and dental work and clothing. We support Fostering Hope. Fostering Hope was one of the very first charities we ever supported. In fact, when they went into business, we went into business. They went into business June of 2013. We went into business June of 2013. His business, we raised $14,000 for his small company with just 12 members of NTI in the very first days. I'm saying we have to give back. Fostering Hope is a ministry where they take the 940 children in the fostering care system in Knoxville, Tennessee, who walk around with their belongings. And if you're not familiar with this, and if I'm hurting your sensitivity or offending you at all, I don't mean to make anyone cry or get emotional on you. But these are children. These are not adults standing by the side of the highway saying, we'll work for food, who can go get a job. Okay? These are children who don't have a mom, don't have a dad, have never had an uncle or an aunt or a grandma or grandpa show them an ounce of care. The way those little kids feel, they're being kicked around the system. And so they're walking around with their belongings in a black plastic trash bag. Do you know that's how fostering kids go from house to house? It immediately took me back to when my mom and dad fostered Wanda. And I saw Wanda as a young boy, 8 years old, run out of her home being chased by her mom and dad, not presumably, with a baseball bat and her stuff in a black plastic bag as she got in my mom and dad's car. So foster kids need help. And I said, I may not be able to help all of those children, but you know what I can do? I can use my influence, and I can take my network, and I can help those people. So I'm saying, take your wealth and understand, if you've grown, if you're not at the place where you're just beginning to build that, you need to take your mountaintop experience and begin to pay it back, pay it forward, give it to someone else. You can only spend so much, you can only have so much. It's time to do for others. And if you remain an open vessel, I think you would be absolutely amazed at what God would do with your business and how big and fast you could grow if you allow him to do it. But that's what we did at NTI. God still let COVID happen. We went through that. We found our base. And you know what we also found? We found our core believers. We found people who believed in us. And we found that base, and we built, and we continued to grow from there. And I look around this room, and I would ask, how many people in this room would stand because you've been affected by Networking Today? Would you stand if you've been affected or Networking Today has touched you in any way? Okay? Now, of the people standing, if you have been touched by them, maybe you're here today because of one of them, would you stand? I started a company in June of 2013. And many of you today know each other because of that meeting. This is called word of mouth advertising. It's networking. Thank you. Please be seated. Word of mouth, okay? When you come out, okay, let me go back. I'm going to mention this. We'll get into it. I'll share something of value, and then I'll shut up and move on. But I'm just saying to you, I'm telling you that networking, people change people. I don't know who it was, maybe Steve, who said you could have all the money. I had a whole nother presentation prepared for today until he gave that one. But I'm saying to you that people make the difference. You can have everything, but if you're standing on your yacht, completely alone in the middle of the ocean, how much fun is that going to be? Okay, today's topic that I wanted to share, we're just getting started. That's good. We have time. How and why we AI. Everyone's talking about AI. You're adding AI to your Facebook. Your Snapchat's got AI. Well, since we've been in this space now for a little bit, Brooke and I have learned some things. So we all know acronyms, and some of you are going to really love the orange and white on the screen. I know this is a big favorite for many in the room, I'm sure. This stands for Go Big Orange, right? We all know that, right? What about this one? Do it yourself. Do it yourself, yeah. Okay. All right. So one of the things about do it yourself, when I was in financial planning, I hated the Investor's Business Daily. I hated Morningstar. I hated CNBC and Jim Cramer's Mad Money. And I hated everybody that tried to tell my customers everything that they could become geniuses all by themselves. Okay? How many of your customers come to you and are already so smart they don't need anything you have available? They already know, they searched ChatGPT and found out what an annuity is, and they no longer need you. Okay? Well, guess what? You can list your home, you can do a FSBO. I was going to have just FSBO up here and ask you if you knew what that stood for, but I just gave it to you, for sale by owner. Any realtor in the world will tell you that when you list on your own, you're exposing yourself to so much risk. Well, aren't your clients exposing themselves to a lot of risk when they come out here and they don't know that Emeritus or some company has a product that could solve their problems? They don't know it. They just knew what they read or saw or a friend told them about because their friend read the IBD also, so they're equally dumb. And so now you got the blind leading the blind. Listen, the whole idea of doing it yourself is good until, well, you're not the expert. So I want to talk to you just a little bit about AI and how we're using it, how it might help your business, okay? And then maybe next time I'm back, we can talk inspiration. So I want to focus on the G of AI. A lot of people don't know what this means. It's generative. What that means is it gets smarter, it learns you, it generates, it creates. Okay, it's really important to realize that fact. Artificial intelligence, generative meaning. Artificial intelligence is a type of AI that can create new. Think about that just for a minute. Now, a lot of people are afraid of AI. They're thinking AI is taking over. We're not taking over. AI is like a dollar bill. It can't do anything unless you grab it, okay? It'll never spend itself. You have to go spend it or give it personality. AI is the same way. But generative is really important, that anything that you get involved in marketing you, that you know that it's generative. It's very important. When you start looking at tools, try not to become an expert at all things. Don't try to learn all the technology. You need to be the advisor. You need to be the consultant with all the technology that all of us geekheads geek out on. Like, I don't know how you felt about showing all those arrows and directions and all, but that's probably pretty fun to build, I'd imagine. I'd like to build that thing. But do you want to go out there and do you want to use the hammer? No, most of our customers really just want the house. They don't want the tool, they just want the house to live in. They want it done for them. And what they're really looking for is someone they can trust at a good value proposition to deliver it. And by the way, price is only a concern in the absence of value. So I know we're all paid in the room based on what we sell, and the insurance company pays us, and we don't have to deal with that very often. But just remember, anything, anytime, ever someone has a problem with the price, it's never the price. It's always the value. But anyway, moving right along. So we created the very first AI content agency. So what we did was, at first we did create the tool. We created the tool to come out and share it with you. You then could log on, you could use it, and turned into a joke. People don't like learning new software. It takes weeks and weeks and weeks to learn. And so we pulled it back in. We added humans to the staff and said, let's talk to our customers and then create content for them. Okay? Now, what we provide, we can do anything STEM discern. So when you start talking about managing social media and what, you see this little symbol down here in the bottom of the TV, it says Human AI. Human AI is a product that we sell under Fanplicity. Remember on the first screen, it's our web development company. So Human AI, what we do is we develop and create content, but not just content, unlimited content. And I'm going to share with you why this is important. Some people have idea stoppage. They don't know, I don't know what to say. I don't know if I do use social media, if I do go out and market, if I write a blog, if I create content, how do I get it out? What do I write on? Who cares what I write on? What's considered engaging? I saw this webinar that talked about engaging content, and I need to be focusing on Facebook's algorithm, and if I learn the algorithm, then I can use this hashtag and that hashtag, and I might be able to find this customer if I do these videos, and it's everywhere. And then there's Facebook and TikTok and LinkedIn and YouTube, and then you gotta learn Vimeo. Has anybody ever heard of Vimeo? And then I gotta learn Vimeo, a whole new platform. Well, what we did is we took this agency and we said, you know what if we could do all that content creation for you? And then if you didn't have the ideas, we could help foster the creation of those ideas.
Let's talk about Human AI for teams. We take a common purpose and goal for the team overall, and create personalized individual content campaigns for every member of the team. These campaigns could include dozens of social media posts across multiple networks, email newsletters, even long-form articles or blog posts. Before diving into details, I want to talk about human AI overall. We're not a tool. We don't offer tools. We are a service. We provide end-to-end, done-for-you service offerings. Specifically, we combine human experts and their intuition with artificial intelligence agents on a team to provide a service directly to you that is unparalleled to anything else that's out there. Really, it's the best of both worlds. But how does that apply specifically to human AI for teams? And what are the details? To start, for every agent, when we first work with every team member, we work directly with them. A human expert talks with them to understand who they are, where they live, their background. What's special about them? What voice do they speak with? Are they authoritative or educational? Really understanding all the details of what makes them special. Then, on an ongoing basis, a human expert will work with the team leadership, whether that's executive, sales, marketing. Basically, your business, your industry, your customers, your goals, all those things, that better than anyone. You work directly with a human expert to understand what a campaign should look like, that purpose and goals and timing for this campaign. In addition, the human expert understands compliance requirements, whether that's regulatory, company policy, or even just personal preference. We then take all of that, and for every individual agent, we combine it with everything that we know about them. And the end result is a personalized campaign specifically for them. Again, this could be social media posts, blog posts, newsletters, emails, tons of different content options there. Specifically, when it comes to social media, we provide tooling. We not only plan out everything and write all of the content, but we provide tooling with individual team member can easily approve everything before it's actually posted. You see, all their accounts are tied into our systems, and once something's approved, it's automatically shared. The end result of this is something truly amazing. For that individual team member, they don't have to worry about trying to write content or share it in different places, and also, worry about compliance. Are they saying the right thing in the right way? We take care of all of that for them. They know that just by showing up, usually that's half the battle. They now have the ability to reach a ton of different people. For the team overall, they have a huge benefit as well, because now you have every single member of the team sharing content all throughout that period of time. As an example of the true power of what this means, let's take an example to where for one team member, it's a campaign over a month. One team member has 12 posts on 4 different social networks, so a total of 48 different social media posts, an email newsletter, and a blog article. If you just take that and multiply it times 10 team members, the important thing is that every team member isn't just following a scripted campaign. They're going to have different things sharing all throughout the month at different times. You suddenly have 480 different social posts being shared across networks, 10 different blog posts, 10 different email newsletters that are going out, and they're all personalized from the person that they're actually coming from. Compared to just putting out corporate messaging and relying on team members to comment or like them, this is so much better and gives you a reach that is completely unparalleled to anything else. The other important thing is this works for teams of any size, whether it's 10 people, 100, 1,000, it doesn't matter. Human AI for teams creates that personalized individual content for everyone, and the team gets the benefit of all that content being created and shared and consumed. The best part of human AI for teams is the cost. All of this end-to-end service completely done for you, dealing with a human, automatic sharing and approval tools, all of that is only $500 per month per individual agent. Instead of trying to share a generic example of what that looks like, we would love to create an example and show you specifically for your team, for you as an agent or for your team and several agents on your team. Would love to be able to show you an example of the true power of human AI for teams. If you haven't already, please schedule a call to talk with one of our human experts and see exactly what human AI for teams can do for you.
Over the last 15, 16 years that I've been in web development business, companies come to us all the time and they want to know, how do I get found in social media and how do I get found in Google? And if you don't think your customers are validating everything you're saying to them by a Google search, you're wrong. They take what you say and they go and they Google it. And they see if what you're saying is true. And I'm going to say, one of the things you have to do is you have to be found. And if you're missing the social platforms, you're missing business. You're missing sales. You're missing revenue. You're missing money that can help the charities, your family, the community. I understand going door to door, and I understand cold calling, and I understand getting referrals from your existing customers, which can be extremely difficult to do. What I'm sharing with you and what we're working with the team with is how can we, from corporate, take all this great content that Scott has produced, all these great videos, and publish mass amounts of content. Saturate social media, be everywhere, LinkedIn, Twitter, or X, Facebook. We now can produce, I shouldn't say that. We're almost to the place where we can produce TikTok videos. So imagine being able to create content that's compliant approved, company approved, and you have approved it. And then we feed that out to the social platforms, but we don't just feed it out for Wellington. We write that post thematically for every single one of us associated with the company in our own mood, in our own voice, in our own tone. I don't have to worry about it. Corporate did it. I don't have to go do all the posting. They did all the work. I just connected my account and it's written in my voice as me, for me. Generative AI. The longer you're with us, the longer we get to know you, the more we know about you. The more we know about you, we know if you mountain climb, drink craft beer, smoke cigars, or go to Baptist church, go to atheist church. Whatever church you go to, we know what church you go to. The more we learn about you, we make posts created specifically for you so that we're never posting not as you. And that content gets out there. And I was going to have Brooke talk about social media, but we're out of time, so we're just going to cut that short a little bit. But you got to be, we call it truth tag. You got to be truthful. You got to be transparent. You got to be authentic and genuine. Don't be liar. Don't be a liar. They're going to see right through that on social media. Search engine marketing is huge. It's driven purely by content. You can either get there by paid ads or organic. Either way, you're going to pay to get there. And the only other thing I want to say is if you have questions, shoot Brooke a text. Or that's the best way to do it. You can call, of course, but shoot Brooke a text. We'd be more than happy to get engaged, but we're working with Wellington. All the videos he's doing, we're going to take all those videos because I can upload one video into our Human AI platform. I can produce podcasts, I can produce blogs, I can produce emails, entire campaigns. I can create an email campaign for every single one of you in the room uniquely for your personality off of one of his emails. Or one of his YouTube videos, which we've uploaded now more of them into the new Wellington channel. I need every one of you to go to YouTube. I need you to find the Wellington Capital Reserve channel. It's a white page with the Wellington, this logo on it right there in the mark. You'll see it. And I need you to subscribe to the page, okay, so we can boost our YouTube. We boost our YouTubes. YouTube's owned by Google. Guess what happens? You post a YouTube video, Google loves you, you get seen. That's how it works. So content. That's what I'm here to talk to you about today. Next time maybe we'll discuss something more inspirational. This really isn't for you. We're going to be working with the home office, but if it's something you're interested in, let us know. We'll work with the team, make sure that we can help you, but we're here to help you make sure that you get maximum exposure. Networking, word of mouth works on social media. Networking, word of mouth happens in networking. You need to start your own Networking Today meeting. This room happened because of Networking Today. You can start one. We can help you. You can get on social media and be out there everywhere. You need to be. Your voice needs to be heard. You have something to share. Share it.